slogan is create community, find freedom, promote preparedness, and share success. You know, my wife and I were living on less than $1,000 a month with 3 kids at the time. Everybody remembers that TV show Doomsday Preppers. That's not what I'm about. How do I grow social media? I said the first thing you got to get out of your head is
welcome back to the BATTARIX POWERCAST. I'm Sam Wechsler, founder of BATTARIX. Today we're joined by Tim Cook. How are you?
Hey Sam, it's great to be on, brother.
You've become a key player in pushing our product forward. How did you get involved in this preparedness space, and what's your story?
Yeah, so I always say that abject poverty is a great motivator. You know, my wife and I were living on less than $1,000 a month with 3 kids at the time. And so preparedness, prepping, became a lifestyle for us because we had a few rules in our house. 1, the kids would always eat. 2, the lights would stay on. And 3, they would always have toilet paper. And then we would get chickens at different times, and we would can up pickles or things that we knew when we could go buy a whole bunch of potatoes when the season would come in, and we would can them all up so we'd have all kinds, because we knew we wouldn't be able to afford to buy them all the time. And then we started building businesses from there because we realized that was just the start. We were in a bad financial shape, so we started taking care of our preparedness, our financial preparedness. Now I realize, hey, I don't take great care of my health, so that's the next thing. I've started running, just ran a 5K recently. So again, that's another part of preparedness, looking after yourself.
So now you're in the preparedness space, and you have your own brand, which is all great. What would you suggest people keep, in their little bag, to be prepared?
One of the easy, low-hanging fruits you can do as anybody, and that's a power outage. Everybody experiences power outages once in a while. But the first thing I tell folks is have a small blackout kit. So have it in your bedside table. Honestly, a flashlight or a headlamp is probably almost all you're going to need to get through the average North American power outage. Making sure you have some batteries, making sure you have a power bank, so that, again, there's comms, right? Because what's the worst thing in a situation? Not knowing. Another thing to have would be a battery bank. And then, of course, a BATTARIX card or something like that.
You keep mentioning about everyone having a power bank,
yep.
As opposed to the BATTARIX, which is all fine and good. And we encourage people to have a power bank because we're not competing against the power bank, right? And part of the education of BATTARIX is people understanding that a power bank is all good. It'll charge your phone, you'll get a full charge. A BATTARIX is there for that emergency situation. The secret sauce that we have, we believe, is the 8-year shelf life, right?
Yeah.
So when you're in minus 46 degrees and you have your power bank in your bag, it'll probably be dead by the time you take it out, because rechargeable batteries die in the cold, as opposed to a BATTARIX, which can sustain that minus 46 or even the minus 20.
What I like about the BATTARIX card is it's just always there. I love things like set it and forget it. And like you said, it's not a replacement, because one of the biggest questions I get, and it's funny, well, it's a one-time use. Yes, it's a one-time use, meant to be the E in your emergency plan, meant to sit there for 8 years. How many phones, how many battery banks do you go through in 8 years when that one could just sit there? And that's what I like about it, is it's a worst case scenario thing.
So why don't you just expound a little bit on how you found us, what you see in the BATTARIX and how it helps in your journey?
Sure. One day I logged into Instagram. He had posted this little thing that looked like a credit card. So I ordered some, tested them out, fell in love with them, threw it up on TikTok one day. 2 days later, I get an email from a CEO of BATTARIX, and I'm like, who the heck is this dude? And it was you. You're like, yeah, we couldn't figure out why we were selling so many darn BATTARIX all of a sudden and where it was coming from. And, the rest is kind of history.
Yeah, just a little backstory for everyone to know. I was sitting here one day at my desk, and all of a sudden I see this 50 people looking at my website, 100 people, and I'm getting orders from all over, and I'm thinking, like, was there a press conference that someone announced everyone go out and get a BATTARIX? Like what? It just went on. 2 a.m, my son, who's involved in the company, texts me and he says, Dad, I found it. He sends me that TikTok or Instagram post, and I said, this is it. This guy posted it. He found us, and it's gone totally viral. Why you need a BATTARIX in your bag, and especially in the cold, even warm weather, and how it fits into everyone's bag.
If you're ever stranded somewhere or you're on a trip, the worst thing that can ever happen to you is to lose communication. Every night when I go to bed, I make sure my phone's charged up. I'll usually keep a big battery bank with me. Now that's a reusable one. If I happen to forget that, I also have my contingency plan, and that is the charging cable that'll plug into my vehicle. Worst case scenario, everything else fails. You know what I have left? That little tiny charge card that is in my dash right now that will give me enough juice to to hopefully call for help a whole bunch of times or anything else like that.
So let me ask you, I see you're wearing the Toolman Tim hat. You got your own merch. Where are you going from here? What's the Toolman Tim brand? Maybe you can talk about that a little bit.
Sure. It's, I joke, but with my wife, we talk about building our empire. For me, I started it as a build your own handyman business. And then I realized, I'm really passionate about preparedness. So I coined this term called Preparedness, which is the art of home maintenance when help isn't around the corner. Our slogan is create community, find freedom, promote preparedness, and share success. So those things, look after your home, know how to do the maintenance if you can't. Build yourself a business, build yourself community, look after each other, and just being overall self-reliant.
Wow, that's great. And you have, like you said, you have bought the BATTARIX branded Toolman Tim battery. Anyone who wants to support Tim and his works can just go on to BATTARIX.com and put in the discount code. Was it Toolman Tim?
Yes, I'm 95. I should know that, but yes, I'm sure it is. If it isn't, we can change it to that. But yeah.
Right. Like, how did you grow your social media network? And where do you post? What do you find the most effective? And what's your feedback on that?
Two things. Number one is focusing on content creation like a business. You have two options. You can treat it like a hobby, and it'll always be a hobby, and that's cool if that's what you want to do. But if you treat it like a business, that's when you're going to find the growth. And I tell folks all the time, anybody who says, hey, Tim, how do I grow social media? I said, the first thing you got to get out of your head is it's okay to make money and help people. Those are not mutually exclusive. So I take the approach of getting 1% better every day. So each time I do something, I try to improve it. And that's what I've done on social media. That's what I've done on YouTube. That's what I've done on TikTok. Every time I did a video, I would watch it back and I'd say, okay, what did I do wrong? All right, let's fix one thing this time. If you stop improving, you're never going to grow. It's always improving and listening to your audience. What do they really like? When you find something that really resonates with folks, that's when you start finding the real growth. 4 years ago when I started this, I spoke a community into existence. And here's what's cool. We bought some land in Tennessee this year. We're building a little off-grid house there. And I just threw it out to the community and I said, hey guys, if anybody wants to come, there'll be food. We can sit, we'll fellowship afterwards. Man, we had almost 20 people who drove up to 8 hours just to come to Delinquent's Gully, that's what we call it, in Tennessee, to work their butt off in 100% humidity the whole day. That's when you know you've built an incredible community, and I wouldn't be here without them.
I mean, that's incredible. Just something that crossed my mind, when the word prepper comes to someone's mind, they think of a guy who's down in a bunker waiting for a nuclear war. And actually the first person I spoke to in that space has a huge bunker out in California, and he's waiting for the Armageddon, right? But so when I met up with you, I said, wow, this is just a regular guy who just likes to, have a bag and be ready, really prepared. So I think people misconstrue that name prepper.
They do, and everybody remembers that TV show Doomsday Preppers, and they always pick the furthest off the wall dudes, and that's what I want people to know is that that's not what I'm about. That's not what my community's about. For us, it's about taking care of the likely things, getting sick, losing a job, minus 46 degrees in East Central Alberta, Canada, a train derailment in my town because we have all kinds of oil coming through all the time. Those the things that are likely to happen, right? People don't realize the word prepper was invented in 1999, just before Y2K. People think it's been around for, forever, but it wasn't. I spend a lot of time traveling around going to events. So I think I spoke at 8 events in 6 different states last year. And you know what's cool? People have this idea of what a prepper is, and they're wrong. I'm just going to flat out say it, Number one, I go there, you've got people on the far left, on the far right, in the center. You've got, liberals or hippies who are there to, learn about wild mushroom foraging and, skinning animals, the works. And then you have guys on the, that you might think would be more politically right. But everybody comes together on the idea of the need to be a little bit more prepared. And that's what I love, because each person comes at it from their own life journey.
Right, and I see that with the BATTARIX as well. You get people from the really left-leaning states and the right-leaning states, and they all have the same thing when they call me. I just need power.
Right.
I just need to, I need to be prepared. Tim, thank you again for your time. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you again for all you've done for BATTARIX. Everyone, thank you for catching up on the BATTARIX POWERCAST. Until the next time, remember to go to BATTARIX.com. Get your BATTARIX. It's good with an Android, good with an Apple. It might just save your life.